Let's check out our problem of the day. Problem of the day says, measures of the angles of a triangle are 3 consecutive even integers. What is the sum of the least and greatest measures? All right, so we're going to take a look at this one. This is kind of crazy, so it's a little bit long, so let's go ahead and take a look down at this thing and see what's happening. First of all, we are dealing with 3 consecutive even integers. That tells me something right there. It also tells me something that we're talking about the angles of a triangle. Now, my friends, we could be talking about not just angles, we could talk about perimeter, but we don't have a perimeter here. So the thing is, with the angles of a triangle, we do have a specific value to go to. And that value is going to be, they add up to 180 degrees. So let's start off here. We don't know what any of them are, all right? But we do have a clue. That clue is that 3 consecutive even integers. Nice thing about integers, we aren't going to have any fractions, right? That's always a good sign. It's always a good start there. So let's see where this is going to take us. But in the end, we'll have to reread the problem again, probably. Yeah, because we've got to figure out which one is the least and the greatest. We'll figure that out as we go along. So n is going to equal our first side. Actually, first angle, isn't it? That's some sort of degrees, all right? We know the next angle has 2 more. You say, Ernie, how did you know it has 2 more? Because I've got consecutive even, so it means I'm going to go up by 2, 4, 6, all right, that kind of thing. So that's going to give our second angle its measure. And, oh, you say we're going to write n plus 2 once again? No, we're going to move 2 more. So it's going to be n plus 4. That's going to give us our third angle, and thank goodness that's all we have to deal with, right? So here we go, our 3 angles, n plus 2, n plus 4. What are we going to do with them, Ernie Roberts? Well, let's find out. We're going to add them together and get how many degrees again? In any triangle, no matter what shape, size it is, you know it will be. It's going to be 180 degrees. So let's do that. Let's pick up n plus 2 plus n plus 4, all adding up to equal big 180 degrees. All right. So there's our starting point. Now, once you get the setup, usually the equations are usually pretty easy. You just know what to do to start with, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 3 n's, and that's 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is going to be just like that. It says 3 times n, or 3n we like to call it. That simply means 3 times some number. And then I've got a 2 and a 4 that need to come together right now, and we're going to make that plus 6 equaling to 180 degrees. Kick this thing around a little bit. That's an n, by the way. It's kind of a big n, isn't it? Now, we're going to move the 6, subtract 6 from both sides, and that's going to leave us with 3n. That's why I really kind of like to make big n's, and I didn't on this step. But we'll stay with the little n. Get rid of those 6's. Over here, did we subtract? Yes, we did. Because remember, what we do to the left-hand side, we got to do it to the right-hand side also. So we subtracted 6. We're going to subtract it from both sides. And that's going to leave us with, looks like, 174 degrees. What do we do now? 3 times something is going to give me 174. We can divide by 3. I think that's what we would like to do. So let's do it to both sides. So do it to the left and do it to the right. Let's do a quick jump to the calculator here. Hold on a second. Let's get that out of there. All right, we got it. Let's look at 174 and we'll divide it by 3. For most of you in a geometry setting, you're already using a calculator for things like this. I get 58. And that is important to me because that's degrees and it's my first angle. And it looks like, y'all see what I see? Of course everybody sees what I see, I hope. Looks like that's going to be the largest. No, it's going to be the smallest, isn't it? Because we're going to add 2 to the next, which is going to give us 60. And we're going to add 4 to the next one, which is going to give us 62. So in other words, we took in, we had 58. 58 plus 2 gets us to 60. And then 58 plus 4 gives us 62. And think about it. They're supposed to be what? Consecutive even integers. So there's 58, 60, 62. Skip by 2 each time. So you say, all right, so we've got the even integer requirement. We've got 3 angle measures. What we need to do now is see, do they add up to 180? If they do, We're getting close to the answer. You say, we're not there yet, Ernie? We're not there yet, folks. I'm counting 180. You say, really? Yeah, I do. There go 2 and 8 will give us that 0, 10. Pull that up there. I'm getting 180. So they do total that. But what's the question asking? What is the question we're asking? Looking for the least and the greatest. And what do we do with that? We don't just write them down. We do what? We get a sum. We add them together. So over here, off to the side, far, far away, we're going to look at 58 plus 62, and we're going to get 120 degrees. That's the sum there. Now, there's another way we get to 120 degrees, and some of you thought, well, couldn't you just have subtracted 60 from 180 and whatever's left over? Exactly, precisely. So that's another way we could do it. We could have said also 180 minus the 60 gets us 120 degrees. Either way you go, that's where you end up. 120 degrees, answer to our problem of the day today.